Good day to everyone. Now we will look in detail each steps of the SDLC, that is Software Testing Lifecycle. Once the customer gives the requirement, the testing team they will do the thorough study and they will write the test plan. Now we look into the concept of test plan. Test plan is a document which derives all future testing activities. In other words, test plan it is a document wherein all the future testing activities are planned and put together in one document. Test plan it is prepared by test engineer, test manager and test lead. Wherein the test engineer he will contribute 20% and the test manager he will contribute 20% and the remaining 60% is contributed by test lead. There are 15 sections in a test plan. We'll see one by one what are these 15 sections. First is objectives. It gives the aim of preparing the test plan. That is, it will tell us why we are preparing this test plan. It will tell us the purpose of preparing the test plan. Next section is scope. In this section, we are going to decide which are the features that needs to be tested and the features that need not be tested. In the planning stage only, we decide which features that needs to be tested and which need not be tested, since we would be having the limited time for the project. Features that needs to be tested, they comes under in scope of testing, and the features that need not be tested, they come under the out scope of the testing. Now let us see an example for in scope testing and out scope of testing. Now let us assume that the customer has given the requirement for developing a features like A, B, C and D. Now we'll tell the customer that the project would cost 50 lakhs, out of which we'll use 20 lakh to develop the features. In that 10 lakh we will use for the feature D only, and the remaining 10 lakh we'll use it to develop the small modules or the features like A, B, C. We'll start the development activities now. Now we will develop the features A, B, C and D, and we will test the features A, B and C. Since only these three features it comes under in scope of testing, we will test only these three features. And when it comes to feature D, which is out scope of testing, we will outsource the testing for testing the feature D. Here they will be doing the integration testing between the features module that is A, B and C. And the next section is testing methodology. In this section, we are going to decide what kind of testing we need to perform. That is, we will be having so many features. We have to decide what kind of testing we need to do for the particular project. For example, that is smoke testing, functional testing, integration testing. Like this, we should mention what kind of testings we need to perform here. This testing methodology, it varies from domain to domain and application to application. Next section is approach. In this section, we are going to decide the way in which we are going to test the product. That is by writing high-level scenarios or through writing the flow graphs. Here you can see how we write the flow graphs. Next section is assumptions. While we write the test plan, we will do some assumptions. That is, how many test engineers we would require for this project. Like that, we will do the technology assumption and resources assumption and some other assumptions also. Next section is risks. If the assumptions fail, then risks are involved. Risk like the test engineer, he may leave the company. Like this, there will be so many risks. Next section is contingency plan or the mitigation plan or the backup plan. In order to overcome the risk, a backup plan has to be made. At least it can reduce some percentage of loss, that is from 100 to around 20%. Next section is roles and responsibilities. In this section, we are going to mention the different roles and responsibilities for each and every person based on their designation. We can see an example of roles and responsibility diagram here. Next section is schedule. This section contains when exactly each and every activity should start and end. Exact date and time it will be mentioned against the activity. Below is the example for how the schedule is done. Next section is defect tracking. In this section, we will mention how we need to communicate the defects to the development team and how the development team they should respond to it. We should also mention the priority of the defect and also the severity, that is high, medium or low. We will see about the priority and severity in detail in the next video. We will mention what kind of defect tracking tool that we need to use, and also we will mention what is the procedure to track the defect. Next section is test environment. In this section, we are going to mention what kind of a hardware and a software configuration we should be having in order to install the newly built software. And also what is the procedure to install the software that we have got from the development team. Next section is entry and exit criteria. Here entry criteria means when we will start the testing, and the exit criteria means when we should stop the testing. Now let us see when we will start the testing, that is entry criteria. We will start the testing when the test environment is ready, and we will start when the application is installed in the test environment. And the white box testing, it should have been completed by the developer before it sends the application to the testing team. The test data should be ready. Test cases, it should have been written. Then the testing resources, it should be available to do the testing. Next we'll see about the exit criteria, that is when we need to stop the testing. When the customer requests the features that are ready, then we are going to stop the testing and release the product to the customer. When all the test cases are executed, like functional testing, integration testing, system testing, and if the application is working fine, then we will release the product to the customer. And when there is no critical defects in the application, then we are going to stop the testing and we will release the software to the customer. When the defects are there but they are not the major, they are the only minor, and there is no and that would not impact on the business, at this point of time we will release the software to the customer. Next section is test automation. In this section we are going to mention the features that need to be automated in the future and the features that need not be automated. And we will also mention which automation tools we should use and what kind of automation framework we should use. Next section is deliverables. It is the outcome from the testing team and it contains what we will be delivering to the customer at the end of the project. It has got many sections like test plan, test cases, test scripts, traceability matrix, defect report, test execution report, graphs and metrics, and the release note. We had studied about the test plan, test cases, test scripts, traceability matrix, and the defect report. Now I will show you the example for graphs and metrics. In the graphs and metrics, we will be having the details of how many defects that we had been identified and how many we have fixed and how many of them were critical and major. Like this we will be having the sections. You can see the examples here. Next section is release note. It is a document which will be prepared during the release of the project to the customer, and it will be signed by the project manager. And it contains the details of the list of pending or the open defects that is yet to be fixed and the list of features which are added or deleted or modified, and the platform in which the product is tested and the platform in which product is not tested, and the list of bugs which are fixed in the current release and which were found in the previous release, and the procedure to install the software and the version of the software. Next section is templates. In this section, it will contain what kind of template we need to use in the project, and only those template it should be used by the test engineer in order to maintain the uniformity in the project. The various templates that will be available in the template section is test case, traceability matrix, test execution report, defect report, test case review template. Like this, we will be having the templates. Now, who will write this test plan? This test plan, it is written by the test lead, test manager, and the test engineer. Here, the test lead, he will write 60% of the test plan, and the test manager will write 20%, and the remaining 20% will be written by the test engineer. Now, who will review this test plan? This test plan, it is reviewed by the test engineer, test lead, test manager, and customer also will review the test plan, and the development team. Test engineer, he will look into the test plan from the module point of view, but the test manager, he will look into the test plan from the customer point of view. This test plan, it is approved by the test manager and also by the customer. And the test cases for the test plan, it is written by the test engineer, and the test lead will approve it. These test cases, they are reviewed by the test lead, test engineer, and sometimes the customer and the development team also. Thank you for watching our video. Please do not forget to subscribe to our channel so that you do not miss any of our video or updates. Thank you.